I love Black Jesus. You're being anti-Black. What up, my channel? Welcome back to another video. I'm Jessie, and you're watching This is my favorite TBR of every single year in the month of February. As you know, I host Blackathon, and it's when we read Afro-centric books. The announcement video for Blackathon and all of the details are in the description box below. In this video, I'm going to be talking to you about all of the books that I will be reading for Blackathon. I'm going to be playing with my TBR cards, which is the monthly reading game that I play on this channel to help me pick out my books. I'm going to be telling you about my non-binary book club pick. It's just going to be a lot of stuff. I'm also going to be giving you the tea on what I'm reading for Sapphicathon, my monthly Sapphic readathon that I co-host with Jan of Agathon. So lots and lots of tea is about to be given. And in the month of February, I have a goal of reading 28 books. Last year, I read 20 books for Blackathon. The year before that, I think I read 16. But this year, I want to go for a full 28 books. Let's get things started by kicking off what I'm going to be reading for my team horror mystery thriller. As y'all know, I am the host of this team. Prompt 1 is to read a book that focuses on the duality of vengeance and justice. For this prompt, I have selected one of my most anticipated reads, and that is Cherish Farah by Bethany C. Morrow. I'm so excited for this book. Also, this is the book that my beautiful patrons have selected that we buddy read, and I am going to be filming a spoiler-filled video for my patrons. So if you want to join my Patreon and read this book with us for my Bow Ties and Book Club, definitely get over there. We also have a Discord server where we talk about the book, and it's just a really fun time. So I am really excited about this. The next prompt is to read a book that features mental health, physical disability, and or neurodivergence. And for this prompt, I have selected The Ecstatic by Victor LaValle. Victor LaValle is my favorite thriller horror author. Before Quick Messi, he was my favorite author. I am obsessed with his works. All of his books are 5 out of 5 stars for me. He's amazing. He's just such a fantastic writer and person, and I love him so much. And so I'm trying to work my way through his canon. The main character of this book is fat, and I think it's so important to make sure that all of our reads aren't just centering thin, slim bodies, right? And he also dropped out of school because he may or may not be schizophrenic, and his family is taking care of him, his family that may or may not be all too sane themselves. And it turns into a thriller from there. And I don't want to know because Victor LaValle's works are just such a whirlwind, and I just think it's better to go in not knowing. And look at this amazing cover. Look at this amazing cover. Next up, we have Read a Book with an Adjective on the cover, and that is When the Reckoning Comes by Latanya McQueen. I am so excited to be reading this book. I really, really love the cover. I love this cover. More than a decade ago, Mira fled Kipson, her small, segregated hometown in the South. With every mile she traveled, she distanced herself from her best friend, Celine, mocked by their town as the only white girl with Black friends, from the eerie woodsman plantation rumored to be haunted by the spirits of slaves, from the terrifying memory of a ghost she saw on that terrible day when a dare gone wrong almost got Jesse, the boy she secretly loved, arrested for murder. And this is about what happens when she returns to that town for a plantation wedding. And finally, I'm going to be reading the group book for Team Thriller Horror Mystery, which is The Perfect Ruin. This is by Shanora Williams, who is a debut author, and the audiobook is on Scribd. Oh my gosh, okay, this is so weird. So the synopsi of these books are so similar that I got them mixed up. So Cherish Farah is actually, she's one of the 2 Black girls in her country club, the only one with Black parents, and her best friend who was adopted by a wealthy white family. And when her own family is unexpectedly confronted with foreclosure, Farah is determined to reassert the control she's convinced she's always had over her life by staying with Cherish, the only person she loves, even if she hates her. And then it becomes like, when she moves into this household, she starts experiencing debilitating illness, fever dreams, inexplicable tension with Cherish's hothead boyfriend. There's a mysterious journal. So it's described as a slow burn social horror. This is the book where a tragedy ended Ivy Hill's happy family. And now that she's in her 20s, she decides to get revenge against the mega wealthy socialite who she feels is responsible for taking all of that away from her. So sorry, I got these books kind of mixed up, but I am so freaking excited about this. Then I'm also going to be reading the group books for all of the other teams. So for Team Romance, the group book is The Sweetest Remedy. Very, very excited about this. This is a Nigerian romance. Then for Team Literature Contemporary Nonfiction, the group book is Black Girls Must Die Exhausted by Jane Allen. And this is a book that centers chronic illness and a Black woman's struggles to become pregnant. That is such an important issue that does affect the Black community. And I also have the sequel that's Black Girls Must Be Magic. This is gorgeous. Like, I love these covers. The publisher also just sent me this. It got in the mail yesterday, so I'm so glad I can feature it in this video. It's a mug that says Black Girls Must Be Magic, and y'all know that I am obsessed with mugs. Like, I have a huge mug collection. I am so excited. I think I'm gonna watch this and drink some coffee in this, with this, in this as soon as this is done. But I'm so excited. Completely unrelated, but they sent this really gorgeous press pack for Black Girls Must Die Exhausted. And it's like my favorite press pack I've ever received. There's this tote that you'll see me. I filmed a TikTok with this tote yesterday. Okay, my storage became full, so got cut off. Don't know what was being said, and honestly, it just doesn't matter because I'm so excited about all of these books. Like, I can't believe Blackathon is finally here. I'm so excited, you guys. Like, I'm so happy. I woke up just singing and swinging. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if this got cut off, but I'm also going to be reading Escaping Exodus by Nikki Drayden for Team Science Fiction Fantasy because that is the group book. Now it is time for us to play with the TBR cards. Every single month I play with my TBR cards. This is a card game that I created where every single card has a prompt, a reading prompt, and then an illustration to go with that prompt. And these illustrations were all done by the incredible Olivia Simone. She's an amazing artist, and she does take commissions. I believe she's still taking commissions, so I'm going to leave her info linked down below because she is such an amazing artist, and like, y'all definitely should be supporting her booktube channel, and anything that she does, just everything that she does is absolutely amazing. So she really brought these cards to life, and the second deck is in production, and we're not gonna, you know, what I do every month is I take my trusty dusty die and I roll them in my fancy purple tray. Purple tray, purple tray. The number that the dice pick tells me how many cards to pull from my deck. So, blowing on them for black luck. I'm actually kind of surprised by what I rolled. Okay. So what I rolled is a 5. I expected me to roll something like a 12, but this is okay. This is okay. Okay, so let's pull 5 cards. So we're just gonna loosely shuffle because we all know that I'm horrible at it. And we're gonna go ahead and just pick 5 randos. Oh my gosh, my little paws. Okay, trying to keep them in order. Okay, that was 3, 4, just 1, 5. Okay, friends, these are the 5 cards that I have pulled. So let's just get right into it. So the first, I love Black Jesus. The first card that I've pulled here is the Victor Laval card, which is to read horror/paranormal fiction with strong social themes. It's just giving. You know what I'm saying? It's simply giving. I am so, okay, yes. So since I already have a Victor Laval book on Victor Laval Strong. Okay, Strong. I already have a book from Victor Laval on this TBR. So for the TBR card specifically, I'm going to pick a different one. So a different author. And there's a bunch of, okay, so I think what I'm going to do, I don't have a physical copy, but I want to read, what's it called? Unhallowed Graves. Unhallowed Unhallowed Graves by Nuso Ono. This is a book that I've been wanting to read for Blackathon for many years, and it follows this market that defies Western scientific ideals. It is like a supernatural market, and you can get things from it that can bring about some awful things. And it follows this British like skeptical who ends up getting something from this market, and it's like a collection of 3 stories, I believe, all about items that are sold in this market. And I know that one of the stories is about a ghost, the ghost of an enslaved individual who comes back to haunt the family that betrayed him and sold him into slavery. So that definitely would be a really, really good book for this prompt. Next up, I have the freshman card to begin a new series. So since I'm trying to make all of these mystery thrillers, I want to read a thriller series. Okay, so I think I'm going to read Hollywood Homicide by Kelly Grant. This is a book that's been on my TBR for a minute. I don't have it physically, but like this Blackathon, I really want to get through my Goodreads TBR as in addition to like my physical books, right? So Hollywood Homicide is a book about this kind of failing has-been actress, and she's down on her luck, she's down on her money, and she's got an upcoming role where she plays a homicide detective. And while this happens, she sees a fatal hit and run. And then the police are like, we're offering an award of 15 grand for anyone who has information. And so she decides to pursue the hit and run case so that she can make that money. And so I'm really in the mood for cozy, feel-good mystery. Hi, Akasha. Hello. Hello, puppy. Yeah, and I think like I want to read more of those. Akasha, sube. Good girl! Wow, what a dog! Wow, what a dog! Oh! Okay. I'm going down. Doggy! Who's a good girl? Who's a good girl? Who's a good girl? And who's a good girl? Who's a good girl? And who's a good girl? She is this close to calling Animal Protective Services on me. Ow, what a good dog you are! All right, let's see what we have here next week. I pulled the freshman card, and then I've got Switch Up, a format that you rarely read. Oh my God, I'm out of breath. So the Switch Up card is supposed to be like an e-reader, audiobook, graphic novel, and I'm gonna pick a graphic novel because I used to read graphic novels all the time. It used to be my primary way of reading, and then I joined BookTube, and now I focus more on books. And one of my channel changes, I haven't filmed that video yet, but one of the things I want to do for my channel this year is to be very heavy on comics and graphic novels and just like get back into them. So there's a comic by Victor Laval who, like I said, everything that he writes, I read. It's called Eve. And where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Oh my gosh. Where is it? Eve. Okay, so this is a science fiction fantasy comic about this little girl who goes on adventures with this demonic ass teddy bear. So I think it is like sci-fi thriller-esque, sci-fi fantasy thriller-esque, and I'm really, really excited to read this. Okay, we've got 2 cards left. I'm pulling the next level card, which is to read a sequel. And I have so many of those for my fantasy TBR, but I want to read a sequel for my thriller, mystery, horror books. Oh, okay. Yes. For this prompt, I'm going to be selecting Children of the Street by Quay Corte. Y'all should remember, I think it was my second Blackathon. I read, what was the first book of this? It was, I read Wife of the Gods. Maybe it was last Blackathon. Wife of the Gods. That book was really good. and it was the start of a series. So this is the second book in the series, and it's set in Ghana. In the slums of Accra, Ghana's fast-moving cosmopolitan capital, teenagers are turning up dead, and Inspector Darko Dawson, who has seen many crimes, is chilled by the latest string of murders. And so he's trying to solve these ritual killings. And I'm really excited. I think that non-US and non-Western Black thrillers don't get centered enough, so I'm really geeked to read this one. The final card that I have here is Career Day. What was your dream job as a child? Read a book with a main character in that profession. I had so many dream jobs. I wanted to be a writer. I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to be a judge at one point. I wanted to be a scientist. So thrillers with those themes. Okay, so I don't have a copy yet. I know it's on its way. So I'm going to be reading While Justice Sleeps. I forget the name of this author, but this was one of my most anticipated releases, I think, of last year. And I never got around to it. And it follows a lawyer who is trying to solve... The mystery involves genetics. Something about like a genetics company that's being really shady. And this lawyer has to figure out what's going on. But I love a good like law mystery. And y'all know that like I'm a big genetics nerd. So this is perfect. This is absolutely perfect. Okay, so those are my 5 TBR card picks. In addition to that, Master of Poisons is a folkloric fantasy that I am buddy reading with Starla. So this is really, really good so far. I'm on page like 70. It's about this desert that is poisonous, and the characters of this book are trying to figure out how to survive and how to reverse the magic that is eating up their land. And then for NB Book Club, the non-binary book club that I run, our February book is Love and Other Disasters, which is about these 2 cuties that are competing against each other or competing with each other in a baking competition, and they fall in love. And I'm so excited about this because I've heard nothing but good things about it, and everybody is absolutely obsessed. I also, this is the first time I'm going to be saying this, I'm in the process of setting up an author talk with Anita Kelly. So there is going to be an author interview on NB Book Club. So definitely make sure you're following Non-Binary Book Club on Instagram. And yeah, it's gonna be the bee's knees. I'm so freaking excited about this. Okay, and then finally, these are 3 books that I also just have to make sure I get to. Black Boy Out of Time was on my January TBR. It is a memoir from a Black non-binary individual, and it's really, really good. I only have like 50 pages left. Then Here Comes the Sun is one of the books I'm going to be reading for Sapphicathon. Sapphicathon is on the 26th, midnight to midnight in your own time zone, and this is the official book that I'm selecting. This is by a Caribbean author. And then, of course, my most anticipated release from my favorite author, You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty. I was lucky enough to be gifted an arc of this book by my friend Melka, and I'm so excited. This is Akweke Emezi's first romance, and I just can't wait to read it. Wow, so officially this has 15 books. There's 15 books on this TBR. Now, obviously these aren't all the books that I want to read for Blackathon because my goal is 28, but these are the ones that I'm going to be focusing on. These are the ones that like I'm gonna do my damnedest to make sure that I read. I'm also going to be doing a reread for Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. Wow, I guess she doesn't approve of Rebecca Roanhorse because the sequel to Black Sun comes out in a month or 2. That's gonna do it for this video. All of the Blackathon information is linked down below, as well as the Blackathon calendar where Black booktubers have signed up to host reading sprints. So check out that calendar. It has all of the Blackathon events plugged into it too. So it's got the Instagram challenges, the YouTube, like it has everything. And then when it's time for Akasha, please. Trying to film. You're being anti-Black. Anyone who's hosting a sprint, click on the description box. Click on the description of that event, and then their channel is linked down below. Akasha, please. It's giving sabotage. Well, Akasha apparently says that it's time for this video to be done, so I'm gonna go. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to join my Patreon, the info for that is linked down below. The information about my TBR cards is linked down below if you want to support a Black-owned business. Yeah, but that's gonna do it. I'm so excited about this TBR, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.